Championship, the pair meet again in tonight's Group 2 final. Alan racked up 14 centuries as he went on to lift the trophy in Dajing. Can he continue that form tonight? Let's get to the action. In the commentary box, Neil Foulds is alongside Phil Yates. But first, let's hand over to our MC, Phil Seymour.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to the ManBet X Champion of Champions here at the Ricoh Arena in Coventry. This is the final of group number 2. It's the best of 11 frames replacing Saturday night's semi-final. It's time now to meet the players. We begin with the reigning Scottish Open and Riga Masters champion. He's the 2010 champion of the world, the Thunder from Down Under, Neil Robertson. His opponent, he's a reigning Masters champion, fresh from victory in the International Championship last week, the Pistol, Mark Allen.
One more and more, people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for, one more and more, people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for, free from desire, mind and senses purified. Free from desire, mind and senses purified. Free from desire, mind and senses purified. Free from desire.
Okay, Mark, clever.
Odds-wise, the bookmakers can't separate these two. And who can blame them? You can make out a case for either player this evening. Robertson, one of the heaviest scorers in the game. Mark Allen, one of the most confident. Full of self-belief. This could be a real humdinger that might well, Neil Foulds, go the distance.
The first frame, Neil Robertson to break.
I totally agree. Bookmakers cannot split them. It's very difficult to split them. I guess the one thing you could say is that the man that Neil Robertson's playing, Mark Allen, looks to be hitting the ball as well as he can. And of course, when they met a few days ago, just on Sunday in Dajing, this man won 7 of the first 8 frames, and he basically put the match away there and then. You know, everyone felt that was going to be a close match, but from about 3-1 up in the next 4 frames, he was just unstoppable. He just kept scoring, kept potting balls, no matter where they were.
So competing agendas for these two. Robertson wants to forget what happened in northern China. Allen wants to draw from it.
Well, every match is different, obviously. You know, you don't know how anything's going to turn out, but why wouldn't he be confident? He's actually the leading money earner on the one-year list for ranking events. Which means he's very likely to be playing in just about everything that the season's got for him.
Robertson has the better of their head-to-head meetings, as we discovered a little earlier with Jill. He leads 10-5 in career head-to-heads, and that includes his 10-5 win over Allen in the final of this tournament 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, I remember about that match actually, and a lot of people may not think this is true, but I remember the match table playing very tight. If you remember that film, below the black, along the cushion, it was really hard to pot a ball. I'm not sure these are quite the same. Ronnie O'Sullivan said the pockets were big, but I think it's playing beautifully. It's just conducive to good scoring, good play.
You're absolutely right about those tight pockets. The match I recall from that year, Sean Murphy against Yan Ping Tao, and Murphy missed a black off its spot, which to this day I'm convinced should have gone and never did.
I don't know if you saw that. I think Mark Allen asked Paul Collier whether that was the brown or red up the table. One or two players do suffer from a little bit of brown and red ball colour blindness. Obviously, when the brown's on its spot, there's going to be no doubt. And one of the few things referees actually allowed to tell a player about. Anyway, he's left this.
One.
Another piece of information the referee can give is what's the highest break in any particular tournament, but I'm sure no one will be asking at this event. Everyone knows.
Eight.
I think
Nine.
Neil Robertson will be aware of how that match in Darshing got underway on Sunday. Started with a 65 break, and he was on the brink of winning the frame, missed a red to the middle, and then Mark Allen dished a whole lot up with a 70 odd. And it kind of set the trend for the rest of the match.
13. 14.
'Sounds rather grandiose, but Neil Robertson has quite a nice claim to fame. He's the finest
18.
player ever to emerge from the Southern Hemisphere. 2010 World Champion and one of the game's premier scorers.
$19.
Well, it's rather an odd shot, isn't it? I wonder what he played. I shouldn't think he played into the red like that.
24.
Yeah, you know what? I was not entirely sure. I know, but it certainly wasn't what he got. I think he was quite a long way out of what he intended.
Neil Robertson, 24.
Problem here is that there's a red up in bulk, as you can see, which means he'll glance off the bunch is not really an option, so it's hard to know how this is going to pan out.
Best of 11 allows a match to breathe, to develop. And of course we've seen the end of the best of sevens now in this tournament. After tonight, a couple of semi-finals on Friday and Saturday evening. Again, a race to 6 before the 2-session final on Sunday.
He might be able to put cue ball down in behind somewhere in behind the green, or down in that corner that he's looking at now, down by that pocket. And then what options does he leave Mark Allen if he manages it? Just skim off the side of the bunch. Get the feeling that's what he's going to do, or try anyhow. Can't see anything wrong with that shot. He's got to try and keep Mark Allen quiet, especially early, because it's been so difficult to hold down once he started potting and scoring.
Way too thin. Into bulk, back out again. What damage has he done?
Well, the red that is up the table is the one he would have been worried about. I can tell you as we watch the replay, that does not go past all the others into the left corner. Might cut it into the middle.
And so after misjudging a safety as badly as he did there on his last visit to the table, Allen can thank his lucky stars.
He had a long, hard look at those reds, and he worked out that none of them potted anywhere. He's looking at a possible plant. Those two balls are in the general direction of this right hand, or this left hand pocket. One is turning around, as you can see. It's not dead in line. He'd have to cut the first one thin onto the second one. So it's not, but it's not the worst shot to try. Especially if you can get the cue ball up and away out the table. Yeah, he played it like a shot to nothing.
So clean. The crowd applaud, and rightly so. Beautifully played shot, timed to perfection.
Yes, and of course the thing about this game is it's not so easy that you can just go out and keep doing it, what you've been doing. Been playing out of his skin for the last couple of weeks. But can he continue it tonight? It's another match.
Eight. Nine.
He's got the tendency when he's going well, the cue ball doesn't move very far. Now he obviously has to play off cushion sometimes, but often he just plays into little areas. That is okay.
14.
Could have been better. He has a shot at least. Problem is he's going to need all kinds of long tackle to get to this shot. You get shots occasionally that you can barely find a way of getting to. Audience have been very good all day. Some of them might have been here this afternoon. Some have enjoying this evening already. The ones that were here this afternoon saw 147, which is always quite a magical moment.
Two words beginning with E apply here. Elevation and extended. Not a happy combination. Oh, well played. Well played.
Yes, and of course you have to just get it all off the table as well. I can remember a time when he couldn't manage that. He knocked all the balls all over the place. He made it look quite easy. Stephen Hendry was on commentary this afternoon and saying that his cue ball
22.
control was absolutely immaculate. Got on everything perfectly.
$23.
And you know, if Stephen says it carries all the weight in the world.
He doesn't give away compliments, does he? Not about what happens on a snooker table.
30.
Well, that came as a big surprise after
Mark
what we saw
Allen, 30.
this afternoon. It was never in, it was always far jaw.
The only thing I will say about that mini contribution from Mark Allen there, that break of 30, it wasn't played at his normal rhythm. He was a little more ponderous than normal. His average shot time at the moment, obviously a very short sample, but it's 29 seconds now for him. That's an eternity. It will, of course, drop.
8. Nine. 15. 16. 22. 23.
Yes, you've got a slight angle here, just stand across for the two reds or in their general direction. Well, that's not worked out. I think he might have played in behind
29.
one of the reds. And well, still, none of them go up to the table. Yep. The break is over. So a slightly edgy start for these two.
Neil Robertson, 29.
And now whoever loses the frame will feel somewhat aggrieved because they've both had chances to nail it. The greatest billiards player in history came from Australia, Walter Lindrum. He would have been aghast at that shot. That would have been chalk and cheese for him. Easy peasy. And now, Neil, the table is there for whoever can get in.
Actually quite a good shot that from Mark Allen, because an easy safety shot really does not appear to be there. Got to be careful of the double kiss on this red. It's right on the cushion. Well, I'm amazed. I mean, red was so tight on the cushion, I couldn't see how he could avoid the double kiss.
1.
That's a terrible shot.
Yes, terrible shot followed by glorious chance.
8. Nine.
You would think nothing to stop him.
14. Cheers. 15.
And in so many clearances, the big shot is the black to yellow, if this is negotiated properly. Which it is. Allen's now a big favourite. Arrives on the colours 1 point behind, so
22.
he needs down to the pink.
24.
Well, as I was saying, in that final
27.
at the weekend, Neil Robertson had the first frame at his mercy. When he didn't win it, it set the sort of trend for the rest of the session.
31. 36. Mark Allen.
The opening
42
frame
on the
could have
frame.
swung either way, but a safety blunder from Robertson and then a 42 clearance to pink from Allen means the man from Northern Ireland is 1-0 ahead. Semi-final jigsaw will be affixed this evening. We know three of the four players already
Mark
through.
Allen to break.
Who will join them? Allen or Robertson? Here's frame 2. Allen has made the more agreeable start.
I've got smattering of applause. Actually left the red. It's the red that drifts up the table off the break. Struck again. He settled for that. He didn't really know about where the keeper was going to end. He had to concentrate only on the pot.
Eight. Nine.
Doubly qualified for this tournament, Neil Robertson. He booked his place originally last December, just before Christmas in fact, by winning the Scottish Open in remarkable circumstances. Beat Chow Yu-Peng 9-8 in the final up there in Glasgow after being 8-4 behind. Also won the Riga Masters in Latvia at the start of this season.
16.
But so far this evening, just a few lapses.
Neil Robertson, 16.
That was a very tough shot. But again, what a gift.
One.
Just a fraction too far. He was judging those
8.
to perfection earlier, but it's still pretty good. Just that he can't reach it without the rest.
Just got a sliver of the black. Minimal contact, but contact nevertheless. And that's why the cue ball is a little closer to the side cushion than you would have wanted.
Yes, he's a little fortunate that it didn't make a great deal of difference to the shot that he was faced with.
16.
Had the angle and everything to get on the red.
17.
Yeah, what is there available to him? I wonder if those two reds are a plant. Bottom two. He was having a look at them.
$24.
Yeah,
25.
they're not a plant, then he's got a shot on the brown to slip off one cushion into the bunch here. Quite a big target as well. It's a very fine shot.
$29.
Funny old game, this snooker, when you need results and you're desperate for a win. Maybe the Reds wouldn't have opened
30.
like that. He played the shot perfectly well. But of course he's floating around on cloud 9 at the moment, and when you're in that position, they open up as wished for.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a confidence player. I guess everyone is, but I think because you've got his own way of playing, I think feeling confident about your game is really important. It's not a unique style, but it's a very punchy cue action. When it's all coming together, you know, he's a pretty formidable player. Some players have long flowing cue actions. I could think of someone like John Higgins who couldn't be more of an opposite. Big long flow to what he does every shot. Mark brings the cue back a very short
45.
distance and just whips through the ball every shot.
$46.
But it really works, doesn't it? Look at this again. Perfect on the red.
53.
That's it, Neil. Really works, especially on a table like this, which is so responsive.
Just had a quick check on the scores. It obviously needs more.
54.
No, that's straighter than he would have wanted. Well, that angle is not much help to him.
$61.
Well, the body language suggests the cue ball is stopped in such a way that he can't get past the pink. There's the head shake.
Yes, it was the previous shot actually, where he finished 2 straight on the black, which gave him few options.
Well, if the red is frozen to that side cushion, is he going to take this on? With loads of running side to aid the ball going in. What a beautiful shot.
That's an incredible shot. For all the world, the break was over. Now, is he on the red this time? That looks a bit more like it. He has judged that to
69.
perfection.
And this is frame ball.
Well, how about this?
70.
This really is quite something, you know. I mean, a lot of people say, well, that ready to cut down the cushion, it must be a big pocket. It was right in the middle of the pocket. And then the next shot was even better, actually. Positional shot on that red. This man has got a big problem
77.
already, I would say. He's already been there in the last few days on the receiving end of what Mark Allen
78.
can do.
$85. 86.
When I interviewed Mark Allen this afternoon, I asked him, have you ever felt more confident? And he
93.
hesitated for a short time, and then he said,
94.
no, I'm more confident now than I've ever been. And this elementary yellow for what would be his 3rd century of the day.
99. 101.
Tremendous break, and halfway through you'd have been saying, well, end of break, time for a good safety shot, but how he pulled it around in 2
104.
shots, quite something.
Yes,
108.
he spied that the red was frozen to that side cushion, which made life a little easier, but we must not take anything away from that shot.
113.
It was an absolute cracker.
190.
This is the black, but
119
really,
on the frame.
so what? The Mark Allen juggernaut just continues to roll. He leads Neil Robertson now by a couple of frames to 0. It's the quarterfinals
Frame
of the
3.
Champion of Champions
Neil Robertson
2018 this evening, the final quarterfinal. And Neil Robertson already finds himself in a spot of trouble. 2-0 down to Mark Allen, and not just that, but he's making mistakes, and Allen looks supremely confident. I think this is a really big frame.
What a shot.
1.
He's really in a rich vein of form right now, isn't he? Seems like everything is just clicking into gear. Not only his game, but his confidence is there.
8.
He's winning. And he's not
9.
thinking about anything, he's just playing. Trouble with this game, if you're not 100%, you start thinking things through, breaking things down in your mind as to what might not be
16.
right. He's not doing that. He's just playing
17.
instinctively. Well, he got everything about the shot right except the top.
Mark Allen, 17.
Bit of rarity.
Yes, and when you're playing as well as Mark Allen is, and you make an error like that, it comes as a shock to the system. It's the last thing he expected, and the last thing Robertson expected. So for the Australian, pleasantly surprised, and now it's his job to capitalise.
Yes, Neil has played a couple of weak shots in the last 2 frames, which have cost him, and he has to
6.
get that positivity in his game.
7.
He's beaten the world #1 twice in a week. He's got to sort of feed off that. Don't think he's frightened of anyone, but I think he is aware that the man he's playing is in good form.
12. 13.
'That'll do him.
18. 19. 24.
I can understand why he didn't hit this too hard, the way the pack was shaped. We tried to go into the pink quite full, but not that full. Nothing really moved.
Neil Robertson, 24.
And now it's Mark Allen's turn to be relieved, because when he missed the black its spot, he must have anticipated that he would be on the receiving end of more than 24 points. As we saw there, the yellow is blocking the path to a red that Robertson could possibly have potted. Looks like he's just playing the dump shot. Just thinking, Neil, what a nice way to spend a Thursday evening. In between sessions, we had the lamb hot pot upstairs, and then Sean Murphy came in with some donuts into the press room.
Well, the snooker's been good, Phil, if you want to include any of that.
You know me.
Well, he may be able to get to this cue ball, but I tell you, the green is a bit of a distraction there on a long pot like this. Not helping you at all. Neither is the noise when you're about to hit the ball. Coming from the audience anyway. Oh, great shot. That really was good under the circumstances, I think. One.
And that's the kind of brilliance that Robertson needs to ignite.
Six.
His scoring has been subdued so far, but this season he has been the best scorer on the tour. Put together 33 century breaks in professional competition, more than anyone else. And when he gets into a groove, watch out.
Seven. Nine. Ten. $15.
No, he's just looking at possibly getting onto the pink into the middle, and that would give him the option to maybe open up some reds. There is a red, of course, that goes. He might not need to open them. It's just a question of which colour he plays on. Doesn't have to play on the pink.
$16.
It's a queuing shot, but he's okay. Good angle.
$22.
Just get the feeling he really
23.
needs his frame, you know. It's a long enough match, first to 6, but he needs to get a frame on the board a bit sharpish.
Well, it was a superbly struck initial red, and he's gone from there.
29.
36 in front.
$30.
So the blue and one more red.
35.
So Mark Allen was going beautifully. 2-0 up. First chance in this, missed a black off its
42.
spot. And with his second opportunity, Neil Robertson is off the mark.
$49. 51. 54. 58.
As always, Neil is absolutely correct. It was crucial for Robertson to win this frame. And he's done so
63.
pretty stylishly.
$69 under frame. Neil Robertson.
Doesn't bother with the black. Neil Robertson puts together a well-constructed 69 break. He's on the board. Mark Allen still in front, but now only 2-1. One frame to go before the mid-session interval in this quarter-final, and this is it.
Thank you, frame 4. Mark Allen to break.
If Mark Allen can go into the 15-minute intermission with a 3-1 lead, I think he would be more than satisfied. If it was 2 each, then maybe Robertson would be the more content of the two.
Yes, I know one thing, Phil, this tournament is really hotting up, isn't it? 3 semi-finalists all in great form, and these two are not playing badly either. The 2 most recent ranking finalists. And the prospect of a repeat of last year's final tomorrow night.
Yes, and for the winner this evening, Kyron Wilson lies in wait. With the field we had, we always knew it was going to be quality from start to finish. But I think the overriding standard we've seen is exceeding expectations. 19 centuries by my reckoning in the tournament already. For a one-table tournament on day 4, that's a lot.
Yes, and if you didn't see last year's final, of course it was Sean Murphy who beat Ronnie O'Sullivan, who has a chance to enact revenge. And a match surely not to be missed tomorrow evening. Pretty good safety shot there.
Touching ball.
Well, if he plays into the bunch here, I've seen 1 or 2 of these shots just go astray, actually. It's a fairly big target. This time, no problem.
saw the potential to pot that red, find the gap between the others and return to the safety of baulk. And that's exactly what he did. No other contact apart from with the green. And let me tell you, that is excellent. Because this afternoon, he had a much simpler roller behind the brown and left it well short.
Yeah, he never got anywhere near the one this afternoon. I mean, I've seen it done. We've all done it, actually. But it probably was on his mind for the last one, what we've just seen. Good shot, that. To swerve it into the first cushion, or the only cushion it hit.
Touching ball.
That'll be handy. Touching ball. That means that Robertson's not got a hit already. He's basically already done one. Already hit one.
One.
I think he knew he had to trust to a certain amount of luck, and he's received nothing but bad.
Yes, he's got to find a way of hitting something here. Interesting to see what he nominates. Here's the shot. As Phil said, he didn't really know much about where the ball's to finish. Might be going yellow.
Yellow ball.
It is.
Foul. And a miss. Mark Allen 1, Neil Robertson 4. Back.
Well, he was close, wasn't he? But he'll keep going back till he hits it, basically.
Okay. Yeah, it was, but I was judging it by this one. It's just this side of it and about that gap. All right. Neil?
Yellow again.
Yellow ball.
Much better. And to give away only 4 penalty points from that pickle was okay.
That's not good. You played it with right hand side, and on this cloth it seemed to just swerve away quite a lot from the object ball.
1.
Nice atmosphere in here tonight. Supporters of both players. Mark Allen's got a few fans in here, but they're really enjoying it. A nice silence when the shots are being played.
Eight. Nine.
Not the most sweetly struck black off its spot. Wriggled in.
16. 17.
'Well, it's a recurring theme.
22.
Look at the pot success rate for both. Mid-90s.
23.
That's beautiful. Beautiful little shot. Looks simple, but just look at the way the reds have all developed. And it's on the black.
Well, given the form he's in, Neil, if he didn't win the
30.
frame from here, you'd be astounded.
$31.
Not rushing at this like a bullet at a
37.
gate. Far from it. Just collecting his thoughts when he feels the need. Making no rash
38.
decisions.
No, but his cue ball is so good that it's just a series of easy shots in a row, isn't it? That's what break building is about. It's easy to
45.
say and not easy to do. He's on every ball perfectly here.
46. 53. 54.
Just marginally short of where he would ideally have liked to have been. A little more angle on this black than perfection. But the positional cannon is judged to perfection. And now there's nothing to block his way.
61.
Yes, I was saying earlier, he's got a lovely touch. That was a prime example of it.
62.
Game over.
$68. 69.
Now the objective is to make his 4th century of the day.
$76. 77.
Nice little flick there.
84. 85. $92. 93.
Well, it's another 100 break, and he's knocking in
100.
an awful lot of centuries at the moment. Don't forget he made 14 in a week-long tournament last week
102.
in Daxing in China.
And the southern substance of that one is that Mark Allen is now halfway to the semi-finals. He leads Neil Robertson deservedly by 3 frames to 1.
3-1 up against Neil Robertson in this final group match, and as you can see, a very high quality match. 95 and 94% pot success from the two players there. Both have spent a very similar amount of time at the table, but significantly, look at the points scored. Obviously Mark Allen much further ahead, and that's why he's brimming with confidence. We've heard him say he's never felt better. He's in the form of his life, isn't he, Stephen?
Yeah, very much so. The first frame was scrappy. And sometimes, I was saying to Alan, actually, when it started, sometimes when you play as well as he did this afternoon, to play another match the same day, sometimes to get yourself back up to that state can sometimes be difficult. It's a bit like a golfer, I suppose, shooting 59 or 60, and the next day not being able to do that. But he looks the more likely to score heavily when he's in the balls, and that's the main difference between the two.
And just his building of these centuries, you know, 14 in Daxing last week, and here he's come today and just brought that with him.
Yeah, I've seen him play a lot of good stuff, of course, in the past, Mark Allen. He's won big titles, but I've never honestly seen him anything like this. His cue ball's on a string. He's making it look easy. When he gets in tight and in close, he's hardly making any mistakes. And he's putting some pressure on Neil Robertson, who's playing well also. But Mark Allen's bossing it.
Let's see how the first 4 frames then of this match unfolded.
Yeah, the first frame, as Stephen mentioned, a couple of mistakes. This was the terminal one from Neil Robertson's point of view. Whether it's rolled off or not, we don't know, but he shouldn't be double kissing that there. And Mark Allen made no mistake. He plays this little positional shot beautifully, as I kind of mentioned, Stephen.
Yeah, he puts the cue ball into an area. He's left himself the choice of both reds. So yeah, it's a simple enough shot, but a clever shot.
Yeah, and carried it on. That's just pure confidence, knocking that in there.
Beautiful shot. Made it a little bit easier because the red was tight in the cushion, but still a beautiful shot. The control of the cue ball again, and this is just pinpoint accuracy with the cue ball control.
Yeah, we were sitting in here and he played that, and as soon as it left the tip of his cue, Stephen said, "Oh, that's plumb, that's perfect," and that's the kind of thing he's doing. Just landing the cue ball on a button. Time after time after time. To be fair to Neil, this was a great contribution. Trademark red with awkward cueing past the green. Makes a great little decision on this next red, because the straight red he's got, there's a hint of an angle on it. He's going to screw back into the other red. So he takes his medicine, plays the more difficult of the two. Beautiful little shot he plays here, little soft screw, just drifts up table for the yellow and made a frame winning, 69 off it. So.
Yeah. It's a very thin cut, and in the speed of this table, he done really well to hold the cue ball short of the bulk line, didn't he?
Yeah, it really was a good reply, but Mark Allen's having none of it. He's just, any time he gets in around here, again his cue ball,
17.
I keep saying about where would you put it with your hand, that's exactly where you'd put it, and time after time, he just is in the form of his life, quite frankly.
When he gets in, he's making the game look ridiculously easy.
You mentioned there the table. Nobody's complaining about the table. They're loving it. It's very fast, though.
The table's beautiful. The cloth's good. The conditions outside, everything's in the table's favour. I'm just glad that it being a new one, that there's not been any stick from anyone. It's been first class. Yeah,
it's the rerun of the 2015 final here at the Champion of Champions. Neil Robertson got the better of Mark Allen in that one. If he's going to do that tonight, he's going to have to really reach into his bag of tricks, isn't he?
Well, I mean, everything's got to come together. He's got to almost play as good as he can play in the second session. His safety play has got to be, watertight. His long game has got to be perfect, and he's got to score win frames in one visit, because it's the only way to stop someone who's playing as well as Mark Allen is keep him in his chair. He can't pop balls from there.
Well, the crowd will be getting into their seats very soon for the conclusion of this one. And it's Mark Allen bubbling with confidence up against Neil Robertson, and he's leading by 3 frames to 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome back our players with Mark Allen 3-1 up. It's the best of 11 frames for a place in Saturday night's semi-final. With referee Paul Collier, would you please welcome back Neil Robertson and Mark Allen.
Mark Allen, the man who can't stop making centuries, it seems, resumes 3-1 up on Neil Robertson. Allen made 14 centuries last week
Neil Robertson
in winning the international championship in Daching. He made 2 this afternoon, and he's made 2 this evening. So if Neil Robertson is going to pull this match out of the fire, he's going to have to go some.
It's these green lights. Yeah. Can we get the green lights off, please? There you go.
Allen had a 95% pot success rate this afternoon, and he's got the same 95% success rate this evening. Robertson not so bad, but of course he's not potted as many balls. Robertson pot success rate 94%. Attempted the pot, but that was tough. I'll go along with you, Alan. I've seen Mark Allen play well several times, but I've never seen him play as well as he's played in the last 10 days or so.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As I said in the studio, his cue ball's been exemplary all day. And another stunning long pot. You leave anything sticking out, he just looks liable to knock it in.
Allen won.
He misses a tiddler of a blue, albeit from the jaws of the middle pocket. That wouldn't happen very often, though. But it's the sort of mistake Robertson needs
1.
to help him to make some sort of recovery.
Yeah, a little helping hand. Neil Robertson there, Mark missing that. Really straightforward blue. This is where he needs things to just work in his favour. I think he's playing the cannon. Just need a wee bit of luck sometimes. Yeah, that'll do nicely.
Six.
Black not potable though. What a miss.
Neil Robertson, 6.
May not have been the best of contacts. It could be costly.
One.
Wasn't easy to tell, was it? Red didn't really jump in there. Maybe it was a dull contact. The cue ball didn't get all the way around for the blue either, so perhaps it was just a dull contact.
Six. Seven.
Played the cannon beautifully. He's right in now. That doesn't look so good though.
14.
Yeah, for once his cue ball deserts him. All of this to the far left corner.
Good recovery. Red's well spread. Pink is the only colour unavailable.
20. $21.
Early days. There's a great chance for a 4-1 lead.
$28. 29.
Yeah, can't play for the
36.
black and left corner this time. Will he risk playing in a little gap? The black in the same pocket. He's thinking about it. See, the risk element here is he's thinking, I should win the frame from here, so if I play a risky little cannon that goes wrong, yeah, be
37.
horrified. No, I don't know, I think he actually did play the cannon, but he just slipped past it enough.
44. 45.
Yes, those two reds just left of the black spot, they're causing not a massive problem, but yeah, clever because he can play for 2 or 3 reds in the one shot there. Good thinking. Now it should
50.
be plain sailing, certainly in the evidence of what we've seen before the interval.
51. 58. 59. 64.
This is frame ball.
65. 72.
Yeah, speak about his short delivery, don't we? The cue actions with always going about
73.
players' little habits. The great thing is when the tables are playing this well, it isn't, you know, the short delivery.
80.
The table almost does half of the work for him.
81.
Allen's 14 centuries last week is a record for any tournament except the World Championship, which of course is 17
88.
days, not a week. I see no
89.
reason why Allen shouldn't make his 5th century of the day at this visit.
$96. 98. 101.
Allen's 3rd century of the match, his 5th of the day.
105. 110. 116.
Allen is in the zone.
123 on the frame,
He
Mark
clears
Allen.
up to the 123 and increases his lead over Neil Robertson to 4-1.
Frame 6. Mark Allen to break.
Mark Allen has made 3 centuries in the last 4 frames. But he's brought the end red down from his break-off shot, so at least Robertson has some sort of starter. Well, it's difficult when you're being outplayed. And only getting chances very rarely.
near the baulk cushion. Shot to nothing. He'll be playing short of the baulk colours. You can guarantee, and you half fancy him getting this, Mark Allen. Yeah. Needs the breaks.
One.
Not quite. Yeah, does he or doesn't he?
He's dying to take the blue. Played it in such a way as to cover the pocket
Mark Allen 1.
in case he missed it. But I think that if he'd gone for it full-blooded, he'd probably have potted it.
Yeah, he just couldn't quite trust himself to play it full-blooded, but I agree. Isn't it funny when you're playing well? I mean, that safety shot Mark Allen's played, he didn't execute it as planned, but with the cue ball finishing on the side cushion, it's given Neil a bit of a problem. And he's playing this, no heroics with the cue ball. I don't think any reds pass. Excuse me. Well, did play the deep screw for safety. He's got tons of cue power. As I say, Mark Allen just not getting the run because he's playing awesome, but yeah, played an iffy little shot last time and almost put Neil in more trouble than he was hoping to. Takes this on a tariff of 1 to 10 difficulty wise. This is double figures. This is a tough one. Oh, what a pot. What a pot that is.
1. And this time he is on a baulk colour.
Yeah, cueing down diagonally across the side cushion. Such a difficult shot to cue. Didn't touch the sides. Yeah, here it is again. Look at the cueing, short back swing, and just almost popped it in the pocket. Beautiful shot.
Six. $11. 12. $19. 20.
It's a sort of chance actually that these players drill over. See the way the Reds are sitting, they're all kind of sitting diagonally
26.
against one another, which means they all go. No need for any cannons, just keep tight control of the cue ball, which you've been doing all evening
33.
long. And he's going along at a brisk pace.
34.
.18 seconds per shot is his average.
41. 42.
He also just looks like he's enjoying himself, Mark Allen. They do say that you should try to enjoy the journey, and that way the destination looks after itself. He's certainly having fun out there.
49.
Well, if you can't enjoy playing like he's playing, what can you enjoy?
50. 57. 58.
'Thin on the blue to play a positional cannon. Thinks he can control the cue ball better from the brown. What a touch.
Yeah, no way to play. He holds his hands up, taps the table. That was fortunate. It was a decent shot though. But once again, when you're playing well, these little things just seem to go in your favour. Frame's gone now.
So Allen is sure of a 5-1 lead.
70.
And it may be his 4th century in 5 frames coming up.
71. 78. 79. 85. 86. 92. 93. 98. Mark Allen, 98. And
3 centuries in the 98. 4 in 5 frames. Would have been something special, but it's special enough as it is. Mark Allen increases his lead over Neil Robertson to 5-1. Robertson was 4 down with 5 to play against Chow Yu Peng in the Scottish Open final. He won the match, but from 4 down with 5 to play against Mark Allen, a repeat performance looks very unlikely because of the difference in the opposition. Chow Yu Peng seized up on the brink of such a significant victory for him. Allen shows no sign of seizing up. Indeed, with all his experience, it would be surprising if he did. Yes, Allen's safety error didn't leave anything easy for Robertson. Who has been on the wrong end of a scintillating performance from Northern Ireland's number 1.
Yet another opening red, didn't touch the sides. Even more impressive that he got the juice in the cue ball back for blue. And if the pattern continues, it could spell trouble for the big Aussie. It's been a, well, the whole day has been a smorgasbord of scoring from Mark Allen.
7.
Doesn't
14.
look great at first glance.
He's just looking at that red that's nearest the camera right now in line with that pocket. That's a possible shot to nothing that he might leave Neil Robertson. How you be able to deal with that? See, he's tried to either shift it or cover it and using the green.
Mark Allen 14.
Good shot, but he's not covered the other one in the left half of the table. Almost forcing Neil into taking this on.
Risked everything on that long red.
Yeah, long pot success, not the figures we're accustomed to seeing from Neil.
1.
Just going back to that last safety shot, Mark Allen. These players also in the safety department, they love it when a little plan comes together, and that was exactly what happened there, Mark Allen. Well, played another little cannon though. Not absolutely perfect.
8.
But like all top players,
9.
he's an excellent finisher of matches.
Right from the start of his career, he's been used to winning things. He won every age group in Northern Ireland.
14.
Won the Northern Ireland Amateur Championship, the European and World Amateur Championships. And although when he turned professional he didn't do quite as well as many people expected, he did quite well. It's taken him until now, though, to unleash his full armoury.
15. $21. 22.
He should be all right here, just stunned down through the gap, a little bit of check. Almost playing a cannon on that red that Keeble just approaching.
27.
A wee bit shorter pace, forced to play a little cannon here, just brush cannon off the edge of it, wants to get a thin cannon. Yeah, that'll do nicely.
28.
On the evidence of last week and this week, Alan is in the form of his life.
35. $36.
Yeah, he's just taking a little bit extra time over this break, Mark. He knows how important it is to put players like Neil Robertson away. Put them away as early as you can.
$41.
And take nothing for granted, even if you do have a big lead.
42. $47. 48.
He wants to finish with yet another century.
Yeah, just a bit. 54. 55.
He's already across the winning line.
$62.
I suppose another question
63.
is, who's going to stop him this week? Well, there's three guys left in the draw alongside Mark who get every chance, of course, because they're all class acts and they're all playing brilliantly, but for me he's been the best of the lot. He's a standout
68.
performer, no doubt about it.
69.
Also bearing in mind the quality and class of this group
74.
today. He's brushed both opponents aside with a minimum of
75.
fuss.
Oh, maybe just a bit careless.
Mark Allen, 75.
But that was a brilliant
Frames
performance overall. Alan made breaks of 119, 102, 123, 98 and to conclude 75 and has beaten Neil Robertson by 6 frames to 1.
Congratulations, Mark. A dominant display all day today. You look like a man on a mission.
Yeah, I played well. I scored really well all day, but I made a few mistakes tonight and Neil just didn't really capitalise. But yeah, when I get in, I feel like I'm going to clear the table every time.
5 centuries today. It could have been 8. You know, the score.
Yeah, I'm not happy because I know Ronnie had 6 on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. I wanted to beat that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you were scoring for fun. You know, Phil asked you upstairs about your confidence. Do you think you're in the form of your life at the minute?
Look, it's easy to say yes because I've just won an event and I'm still in this one and I'm scoring well, but you know, we know how quickly it can turn the other way too, but you have to just ride the crest of a wave whenever you can, and you know, my game's in good shape. I'm feeling good about my chances and just looking forward to playing.
Listen, a couple of years ago, John Higgins came off the back of the International and came here and won it. You know, it was a big pay week for him.
I know, I think he beat me in both.
But you can carry that form through. Not everybody can.
Well, you can, and I think I'm one of the players that can sustain it. You know, some people can't, but I feel like I can keep it going for quite a time. Like, I've been playing like that, honestly, for 18 months in practice, like every day. I'm just playing like that. That's why I'm not really surprised.
What do you put it down to in your matches, though? Because something seems to have clicked.
Honestly, the pockets have been slightly more generous here, and in Daching, because there's zero humidity in Daching, so cold, perfect playing conditions, and yeah, I've just given myself so much confidence because you know you've got a fraction of forgiveness that you don't normally have. Yeah, just scored like for fun.
Pockets are big for everybody, though. The guy you're playing as well, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, but they still have to be able to score and see the shots and play the right shots and hold themselves together, and that's something I know I can do. But I feel like I've got an extra % or 2 just with the pockets being a bit
That's
better.
still the biggest asset a top player can have, isn't it? To be able to score, to have that confidence when you get in, you're going to win the frame in one
yourself,
visit.
like nowadays, the game revolves all around scoring. You're something to do with that. The way they changed the game in the 90s, and I think everyone's capable of scoring at times, but the top players score all the time. I think that's the difference. Let's
look at some of the shots then. We were spoiled for choice here, but the guys managed to whittle it down.
Well, I thought you'd broken down here, and then obviously that was not really part of the plan, but you were determined not to let that break in, it seemed.
It was just, I didn't have a good safety. I thought I was going to open up all the balls, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to at least, if I leave the red over the pocket, let him.
This was like a pinpoint positional shot, wasn't it? I mean, you had the
I played that
5-10 piece to land the cue ball.
I didn't have a lot of room, but those sort of shots focuses the mind a bit.
Those sort of cannons, that's like your trademark, isn't it? It's when you've got a lovely cloth like this, you hardly need to touch it, do you?
Yeah, that's what Terry says. I'm good at those cannons, but I'd rather not have to play them all the time.
So you're back with Terry this season again? Is that me?
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
No, we're not. To be honest, I worked with Chris a little bit for a few months, so I really enjoyed it, but I just didn't feel the same connection that I have with Terry. Nothing against Chris, but I just feel a lot more comfortable when I'm with Terry, yeah.
Yeah, this pink stayed potted.
I think it rolled off a little bit, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good shots. This one, I thought, was an extra special pop, you know. Under pressure, queuing down on the ball. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, it's a shot that you only fancy whenever you're flying. It's not a nice shot to have. This was very, very fortunate. I played for the gap.
One,
yeah, you can't teach that. You can't teach that.
But that's why when you're playing well, you get the little
exactly.
rubs,
You're playing bad, you stick on the pink and you're snookered. But yeah, I'll take it when it comes because I've had a bit of a bad run over the years as well.
And you continued to score heavily in the last frame, you know, and in every frame it was one visit snooker. And I suppose that, what do? Do you think about it? I mean, you know, if you overthink situations like how well you're playing, and you've just got to go out and enjoy the ride, haven't you?
Yeah, you just have to just get out of your own way, just play.
Yeah.
That's the way you play in practice, and sometimes you overthink it and get in your own way. I'm just enjoying it at the minute. I'm not really seeing many problems.
What will you do for the next couple? Because you're not until Saturday night now. We just a bit of practice, chill out, and.
Sean bought me a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, so I'm going to go and destroy them.
Sit in a room.
There's a little bit of a bet we had, so I'm going to go and destroy them.
Let's hear then from your opponent today, Neil Robertson. He's been talking to Phil Yates.
Neil, tonight you ran into a bit of a buzzsaw. He's playing superb snooker.
Yeah, the conditions certainly lend themselves to it. I think any player here, if you get around the black spot, you can't miss. And the way he controls the white, you know, yeah, I think Mark's probably exempt from with how well the conditions are playing because he is such a top player. But yeah, he'll take some stopping. But I think, you know, you're seeing with Ronnie as well and other players, if you're getting around the black spot, it's the conditions are amazing for scoring. And, you know, I went into the pack a couple of times today, landed awkward a few times, and, yeah, probably boiled down to a few bad safety shots, but that's it, really. He played a terrific match.
But over the last couple of weeks, still positives to draw from what's happened. You've beaten the world #1, for instance, twice in the last 2 tournaments.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't win the tournament. I'm certainly not someone who sort of walks away from events thinking, well, I beat the world #1 or I beat this player. I go into every event, try to win it, and when I don't, it's disappointing. But my game's in great shape. Just need to sort of just fine-tune a few things, I think, and especially in the safety department, need to create more chances because. Last couple of times I played Mark, he's always sort of like been the one who's got in first in amongst the balls, and safety hasn't been quite good enough. So that's something to work on over the next couple of weeks before the UK Championships for sure.
So just dust yourself down and then go again, presumably.
Yeah, that's all you can do. It's last week I ran into a lot of really top players, and this week again. So my draw from that perspective has been as hard as it could possibly be, and I've had to be. Pretty much near at my best every single match just to get through, and just fallen short. Obviously, the last couple of times against Mark, he's just outplayed me. He's been too good and has deserved to win. And I think if he plays like that, it'll be pretty tough to stop.
Well, as always, you're a great ambassador for the game, and thanks for speaking to us.
All right, cheers, Phil. Thanks, mate.
Neil Robertson, you're just too good, he says.
Yeah, the last couple, but he's had my number for a while. But he's someone I look up to. He's a class act. He's won everything the game's got to offer, and you have to play like that to beat Neil.
And it's Kyron Wilson you'll be facing. Of course, you know him well. You've played him in a couple of big matches recently. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, look, Kyron's a very good player. He's had a lot of good results in recent years. But if I keep playing the way I'm playing, I'm not bothered about not just Kyron, but any opponent. I just want to concentrate on my own game, keep doing what I've doing. And whether it's this week or next or wherever, I feel like I've got plenty more tournament wins in me.
Good stuff. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday night. Coming up after